Welcome to Vlogmas Day 20. We have checked in and are heading to the lounge to go get some water and some more tea, I think. But yeah, oh man, even when it should be easy, it's difficult. Okay, so I am at my boyfriend's parents' house where I'm going to be spending Christmas and stuff. It's been a couple hours since I talked to you guys. I very much meant to check in earlier, but then I just got distracted and was like hanging out with people and all that good stuff. So just to catch you up on what's going on, I flew out from Toronto this morning and I was super delayed. Like I feel like everything this morning was delayed. I did fly business class, so I used the priority check-in, and it was like, I thought it was gonna be such a good thing, and I was gonna sail through, all that sort of stuff. No. The guy doing the check-ins had a full-on like 15-minute conversation with the guy in front of me, and then asked me like a whole like list of questions that just like have not been asked in a while. Anyways, so it is what it is. That took a long time, and then going through security, my bags got, both of my like carry-on luggage got pulled for extra screening, and they were doing it to a lot of people. So there was like a long queue for the extra screening, and it was pretty much like if you had any sort of wires, anything with a battery, any liquids, anything like that, it had to be pulled and light inspected. So then that, and then the guy, like, you get like your security like tray thing, and so there was two for me. So I had like my laptop and my iPad in my hands because those were the only things that weren't pulled off into like the extra screening. Then I put them down on the table, and the guy just like shoves out the tray, knowing full well that my laptop and iPad are there. And so like my laptop and iPad fall, and it's like my mistake for like not picking it up. But I do wish he had been like a little bit more like gentle and wasn't trying to like force it out when I was like very clearly like trying to pick up my laptop and iPad and stuff. But yeah, then I got to the lounge, everything was fine, but my tea was sour. Like there was nothing wrong with the milk, there was nothing wrong with the tea, but it was awful. The tea was so bad, it was so bad. Like so disgusting. And then I was just like, okay, whatever. So I was just like reading, I was on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, just like doing my thing. And then at 8, I was like, okay, I need to go. My boarding is 8:35. Usually they call you in advance and like check your documents and all that sort of stuff. That didn't happen. So I just like sat there for half an hour, and I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll have time to go to like Tim's or Starbucks and get another tea or something to eat to take on the plane stuff. Because even though I'm flying business class, like the food on these flights is just not always it. So I like to be prepared. It's also like, I'm not a picky eater, but I have like sometimes a sensitive stomach. Like sometimes I just like don't, yeah, anyways, you guys know, like sometimes you just like don't want to eat something, and you know that if you have it, it's going to make you like not feel good for like, that's just that intuition. So on planes, I have that thought, so I like to bring a little bit of food just in case, or like eat beforehand if I can. And then I was having these discussions, and then boarding time comes around. I'm like, okay, there's not enough time to go. It's fine. And then she comes over 5 minutes after we're supposed to be boarding. And like being in zone 1, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on the plane first. So like there's no time for me to go get anything else. Like I've got to be ready to go. Because I also don't want to like be that person that shows up late to the gate and like butts in front of like the whole line. Anyways, that's like, again, me problems, but I'm just sharing with you guys my me problems. And so I just like, you know, was waiting, and then we were like delayed, and she's like, okay, we're gonna be a bit delayed because of grooming. And I was like, okay, what is a bit? Let me know. Like, do I have time to go get a sandwich? Do I have time to go get a coffee? Do I have time? You know, it's just like, and so I decided inevitably it's not a particularly long flight, so I decided to just kind of like suck it up and deal with it. And then we ended up boarding at 9, which was our scheduled departure time. And then we were delayed at the gate for another hour. We were delayed so long that they actually opened the doors after the doors had already been sealed and let somebody on. Like, that's how long we were sitting there, that they actually had somebody who was either late or on a different flight or whatever get onto the flight, because we were still at the gate. I was like, you know, we've been here a long time when they're adding people to this flight. Really lucky though that the flight was not busy at all. There was 2 people in business class. The reason I flew business class is because I have like presents and all that sort of stuff, so I didn't know how many bags I would need to check or how heavy my bag was going to be. Business class, you're allowed up to 70 pounds, which is quite a lot. Like if you have a standard size suitcase, it's like, unless you're bringing like liquids and stuff, it's very difficult to fill that. But I was like, just in case. And also I was like looking, and so it's like you get 2 complimentary bags. They're 70 pounds each. There's no fee for choosing your seat. You get like food, drink, all of that sort of stuff, plus like the lounge. So it's like by the time you calculate all of those sorts of things in, the like added costs that get tacked on to an economy class flight on Air Canada, you kind of end up in and around the same price point anyways. So it's just like easier for me to just have it all included, have it all there, know that I'm covered, all that sort of stuff. Also, as like a solo female traveler, sometimes having lounge access can be like such a blessing, because there are a lot of times where I don't want to sit out in the, you know, main terminal, or if it's really early in the morning, like stuff like that, where the airport's not as busy. I know it's safe, but like I always feel like it's better to like go and be somewhere where there's like, you know, constantly people around, and you check in, you check out, that sort of stuff. So I like it. There was this like one time, long digression, but if you go back to like the very first vlog that I posted, I got stuck in Shanghai Pudong for like over 12 hours. I was there so long that I was worried that my temporary visa for the airport would expire. And what happened was, if you connect through Shanghai Pudong, at least at the time that I was connecting, you get your bags, you leave the airport, or like leave the security cleared section, and you have to recheck in on your next flight. It doesn't matter if it's on the same airline or whatever. Like, so if there's a layover more than like, you know, 3 hours, like whenever your check-in window is, you have to sit outside of security with all your stuff and wait. And if I was traveling with somebody else, like if I was traveling with my boyfriend or like with a group of people, I wouldn't be so worried. But like if it's just me, like, you know, you can't leave your bags to go to the bathroom, and I don't really speak Mandarin particularly well. I have a very rudimentary grasp on the language. It also doesn't like help that I'm immediately like classified into like the typical like North American traveler, which to be fair, I kind of am. but I just like am immediately like put into that category, and that's not always a good thing. So anyways, I had a really bad experience. And then by the time I was allowed to check in, my flight was delayed. And so I think I like exited the airport at probably like lunchtime. By the time I was allowed into the airport, like into the gates and into security and stuff, it was already like 11 o'clock at night. And the thing is, like, so I had been like out of security, like out of the airport, like proper, for like almost 12 hours on a 24-hour like thing. This is like the airport was starting to close. Once we got in through security, nothing was open. There was no food open. There was no, like, there was nobody. It was dead. But there were all of these like stranded travelers whose flights had all been delayed. And luckily the flights were still like going, like flights were still going to fly out, because some airports do stop air traffic after a certain point. But like, it was just like, we were so delayed. And then by the time we got in, there was no food, nothing, everything was closed except for the lounge. So it was so lucky that I had the lounge access. And then I waited in the lounge for another like 4 hours. By the time I finally boarded my flight to Singapore from Shanghai, it was probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly. It was insane. So anyways, the point of the story is get business class, get the business class lounge, especially if you're traveling by yourself. It just makes things easier. And then, yeah, so we're stuck on the tarmac for like an hour because the jetway, which is like what connects the airport to the plane, the thing you walk down, was frozen and needed maintenance. So we had to wait for somebody. The airports are all understaffed right now because of COVID and whatnot. So it took a little bit longer. Then we like thought we were gonna go. No, we got stuck behind a huge queue of planes because obviously like we didn't go out in our spot. So we had to go out after like a whole bunch of scheduled departures in a hole. So we had to queue. And then I finally got here and it was fine. But like, yeah, the funniest thing was there was this guy when we got off the plane and I was waiting for my bags who was like full on complaining and like about stuff that's like really just like not complaining worthy. Like in the sense of like, in like to alleviate some of the immigration stress, because at Toronto Pearson for the United States, you cross immigration first. And it's to make your other side, the other side of your crossing more speedy, expeditious, especially because there's a lot of traffic through Pearson to like New York, Boston, Chicago, stuff like that, like all of those like commuter flights. But so sometimes people are pulled from the regular line into the Nexus side because the Nexus line moves quite a bit faster. And so this guy was in that side, which is a side for people who have the Nexus card and had the Nexus security clearance. And he was complaining that like Nexus people were getting called before him, and he was like, I'm a second-class citizen and all that. And it's like, have your feelings, whatever, but you are not a second-class citizen. And it's okay, but it's like these people have applied, cleared, and you know, pay for this privilege of being able to go forward, and like you didn't. So it's like, just like they're gonna go in, they're gonna hand their card in and leave, and then you can go. Like he was just like complaining about it and going on about how he's a second-class citizen, didn't have rights, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, relax. Like, is this the most privileged thing you are complaining about right now? Like, just relax. Anyways, I was just like, anyways, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but like sometimes it's like you gotta take your issues with a grain of salt, you know, and like perspective. But yeah, then I got picked up by my boyfriend and his sister, and then came back here, and we've just been hanging out all day. I am so exhausted, which I don't know if you guys can tell by the random ramblings and tangents, but definitely the 4:30 wake up is starting to hit me. But I think we're just gonna like chill for the rest of the night. We're gonna have dinner, and then I think like my boyfriend's family, they're gonna FaceTime their dad, who's not in country right now. So during that time, I'm probably not gonna like hang around and stuff. I'm just gonna like let them have their family moment and maybe watch like TV, maybe I'll read, maybe I'll go sleep, I don't know, but it's kind of all that there is on the agenda. So we'll see. If anything interesting happens, I will let you guys know, but probably not. I don't really think I'm going to show you guys like too much of stuff happening here at the house, unless we end up like baking or cooking like something, like I end up cooking something. But yeah, I just like haven't seen his family in like 3 years, so I want them to like me. So yeah, anyways, I'll talk to you guys in a bit.